of the Seas. Yes, all right. Wonder Woman of the Seas. Why? Well, you know what? I have been detecting a theme pervasive on the ship, and I don't know how long that's going to last. Well, some of it's semi-permanent, so we'll be experiencing that for quite a while. But it was International Women's Day yesterday, so how appropriate to mention that I am definitely detecting quite a feminist theme aboard. Last night, for the entertainment, there was some renowned female singer performing only hits from the great female divas. Okay. Also, though, the big production in the Aqua Theater is an all-female cast. No thank you on that, by the way. So there's definitely, something obvious, but there's also something a little bit more subtle, and that's with the artwork around the ship. It also definitely has a very feminine-focused theme, which, to the trained, observant eye, is quite obvious. So I thought I would take you on a tour of the major pieces and talk a little bit about them, what I think they mean, and, well, how I kind of feel about them. We're going to start with starboard side aft and go all the way down, and then come back up and head over to port side aft, and then repeat it forward. How's that? Let's start here, deck 16, between the stairs, and we have 3 portraits of empty suits. Now, a male in the middle, flanked by what appear to be 2 females. What is this suggesting? Is it suggesting that they're all somehow equal in their jobs? Meaning, on the left, we have what looks like a college-y academic type, probably pursuing some useless degree, as well as on the right, fish in the head. I don't know. Are they all equal? When we know they're not. The captain of a great ship is far more valuable to society than a college graduate or some random Freddy Krueger fan. There are a number of pieces like this that aren't particularly in your face about it. It's just obnoxious art featuring a 1%er surrounded by all of the trappings of modern indulgence, which is perfectly fine, but it's a woman. Continuing on, we have 3 more shots of, well, mostly inoffensive women doing, I don't know, fun tropical things. A bit of photo art at a poolside resort with ladies' swimwear superimposed on it, probably indicating that in every setting, especially like this, the feminine influence is always present and always watching. Now it seems a bit creepy, like ghosts in bikinis. Now here we have what seems to be our first example of just genuine broad appeal art, but there are a number of eyes in there, and I am asking myself every time I see it, am I missing something? Is there something in there that maybe only colorblind people can see? Or is there something among the shapes that is just not jumping out at me? I don't see it. They look like bongos at the bottom, but I don't really see anything representing a human or similar form. If anybody sees anything in this, let me know. I'm curious if there's a hidden message that I am missing. This is the first in some questionable pieces I've seen. I don't know what the artist is going for, or if they're really appropriate for this venue. So we have two very young ladies among some leaves, and you can see their small hands are, in interesting places. But over in the next one, you see 2 young faces, presumably the same young faces, however, with some large hands reaching in, and, I don't know, it's a little bit dicey what could be going on or what the artist is meaning in all of this, but, well, I don't know if it's really appropriate for here. It gets worse, by the way. This appears to be a photograph of a very nice ballroom somewhere in far western Europe, Italy, France, and, it doesn't seem to be, expressive of much other than with the missing chandelier, you might say that it looks like the angels are powering the earth. This is the kind of art that should just be everywhere. It's simple and fun, and everybody loves it. Dressed up dogs. 3 very colorful pictures of apparently Japanese persuasion. They are quite nice, but I must call attention to the center one with a life-giving tree extending its branches to the poor woman boxed in her frame, trapped in the image of traditional womanhood of their society. This is a nice colorful painting of probably a certain garden, but notice the column composition. On either side, you have one ionic column and one caryatide. Are we perhaps suggesting that masculinity be erased from creation? Now we're getting a bit more overt about it. A woman in an overly feminized form intruding on what is clearly a dedicated masculine space. This one is a bit off theme, and I'm going to say the curator may have not fully understood or was able to interpret the overall meaning of this. Fluir, to flow. In modern parlance, yes, it is a very feminine term, especially when you look down to the lower right. However, of significance is the text, "A wild garden is growing in me." A wild garden, something that is new and diverse, and something that is bringing life, is growing inside of me. Well, that suggests motherhood and the miracle that only women can bring us, and that is bearing a child. So I'm going to say that somehow this artist, I don't know if it's Wu Wei, managed to sneak a very, let's just say, pro-life, anti-genocide piece of artwork into this collection. Good for her. See, it's very simple. More dogs. That's all you have to do. Okay, I'm gonna punt this one. Hidden Mickey. Flowers and butterflies. Okay. American Pie, anyone? This one, I think, is mostly a pretty piece of art. However, it does feature exclusively a woman who keeps peacocks as ornaments. This one seems intent on evoking the progression into modern womanhood. You have to look very closely, but you see a painting of, well, let's just say a traditional life in certain places. The two men arguing over what might be agave, signifying perhaps alcoholism or similar, while the woman maintains her duties, either cooking or cleaning. Yet here we have the modern woman availing herself of all the trappings of modern society and able to simply decorate herself in the natural beauty that surrounds her. So we've gone from this, the woman doing the household chores, to this one expressing just the decadence of modern society and likely the ease of life that modern women have. Yes, the positioning of the stalks and flower is quite curious. However, it is just another piece featuring exclusively a woman. This is an interesting one. Not really sure how to interpret it. I do see the hand, the watering can, life-sustaining or life-giving water, the flower on top. They all seem to be very prominent, but I'm, like the other one, not seeing how this comes together. Now, of course, this could be representing themes that are just very deep into, a feminist theory, the kind that's only taught in universities, places like that. So, not knowing much about that, I might not be recognizing what is obvious to some people. If you do see what it is, please let me know. This is very pretty. Looks like a carnival costume or some other festival. It is, however, featuring exclusively a woman. This could be just a nice artistic interpretation of the moon. I'm not sure what the colors might mean. They're the only thing that is really standing out. So, again, if anybody knows or if anybody sees the pattern I'm missing, let me know. And we're back on deck 16, going to do the port side aft stairwell now. All right, this one's easy. Woman gets eaten up by the big city. All I'll say is, ew. For this project, the most notable aspect, it is two women. However, I am going to interpret this in a relatively positive way. I am thinking that the artistic impressions around their heads represent perhaps the chaos of imagination or some other creative spirit that these two ladies contain. This one I find problematic personally because it is very evocative of the flag craze going on right now. All the groups attempting to assert their identity and proclivities on society, and let's hope we can draw a line somewhere. So yeah, this one, I'm not really happy to see it here. This one I'm having trouble with. I can't tell if it's just meant to show the juxtaposition of modern commercial and consumerism, the inflatable paddleboard, or I don't know if it's inflatable, but the paddleboard says Fit Ocean, against the natural state of man, or if it's just a bunch of kids playing in a pond. Here's another pretty picture of a woman. I see a goddess behind a dragon chasing a woman, perhaps signifying the jealousy between females. There's two ways I have to interpret this one, but I'm going to take the more traditional and uplifting approach. In the center, we have the protector. On the left, we have the vessel, which carries and gives birth to the unformed. Basically, a family. I can't really examine it from all angles, so I don't know if there's a hidden pattern in there. So I'm just going to call this a nice piece of art. This is another I kind of have a problem with, and I don't know if it's really appropriate for this particular venue. Here we have a young girl, all nicely dolled up, hair braided with bows, sitting on a blank white background, likely representing the innocence of life. But on the other side, we have likely the same girl, her hair kind of disheveled mess, the braids torn out, no bows, pulling a rip through her world, suggesting that, her world is now broken. She is the victim of some traumatic event, possibly one enabled or promoted by certain people who, likely, or thankfully, we're doing something about that. It's a nice piece of art, but I don't know, if you really look at it too deeply, probably this isn't the place for it. Different people are going to see different things, and I'm going to leave it at that. All right, I think this might just be one of those pieces where if the artist explains what it means, you're just going to roll your eyes and say, sure, yeah, sure, whatever. And another pretty picture of a woman. Finally, boys, this is what we get. Big balls. But you know what? That's okay. Because, sorry ladies, this is what it takes to run the world. Yes, it's a woman, but I'm thinking this might have a deeper or more substantial environmental message. The woman hovering over the ocean, covered in what appears to look like, modern plastic. It does seem like an environmental message. Mother Earth being consumed by, our modern wasteful ways. Yes, it is very pretty, but it is just more flowers and butterflies. This one is a nice, pretty piece of larger art, and I notice the central piece does feature two, I'm going to say just incidental, very, very small male characters down at the bottom. However, I think the larger meaning behind this is the feminist interpretation of the peacocks, representing a man's wasteful and unnecessary pursuit of opulence, reducing a woman to just a sexually suggestive body part. A pretty and colorful picture of a woman. Although I am wondering if the flower in the teeth has certain meaning in any particular culture. If you can't tell, those are butterflies surrounding what appears to be a yin-yang symbol. Now, what I see in this is the butterfly as a symbol of femininity, surrounding, constraining, perhaps even dominating what should be the balance between the masculine and the feminine. Beyond a purely feminist interpretation, the macaw is a monomorphic species, meaning the male and female have the same color pattern. So, what we're looking at might not necessarily be a normal breeding pair of a male and female. It could be representing two women or two men, or anything in between these days. These two could just be pretty paintings by a renowned female artist.